first PhD programs in positive psychology were asked to host the World Congress of Positive Psychology. And one of the very interesting issues, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, Gene Nakamura, and myself, we were going to be the first hosts of the International Positive Psych World Congress, other than the first couple that happened in Penn, where it all started in Marty Seligman's Masters of Applied Positive Psychology program. So as we did that, we had this huge World Congress in LA at Bonaventure, big hotel, pretty pricey, and the way you put on these big conferences. And all along the planning, Mihaly was saying to me, can't we just have it on the campus? We have to charge people. And he didn't like, the big conferences that we usually go to. So we agreed to create something here after this big World Congress, which at the time we thought would never come back to the West Coast. And we were right. It has moved. Last two were in Australia, and the next one looks like will be in Turkey, right next to the conflict, unless things don't settle down in that region of the world. But that's why we've kept this in the format you're going to experience today. In my last conversations with him, one of the things he wanted me to see if I could keep going was his the PhD program, his Quality of Life Center, and the other was this, but not in his mind to give it away to the normal model. So for 10 years, we've been trying to do this on university campuses. We resisted charging, membership dues, and we've resisted becoming the American Positive Psychology Association and expanding this, all across the country. Someone will do that one day, I'm sure, but we've committed to keeping this with the best speakers we can find that want to share their knowledge about positive psychology and evidence-based practice. So we started this model where other universities now want to host it. So 2 years ago, one of our graduate students, who is also a University of New Mexico alum, stepped up and created the first conference outside of Claremont at the University of New Mexico. And he's flown in here today from Colorado. So Matt Higgins, let's give him a big round of applause. Last year, we were all up in Sacramento, at Sacramento State, and had a wonderful conference up there. I know many of you were up there. But as we started planning this one, even though we had 2 offers, we couldn't give it away. We wanted to come back for our 10th anniversary, 10-year birthday party. And so thank you all for being here with us and coming to Claremont, those of you that have traveled. We think we have an amazing program laid out for you today, and think you will not just learn a lot about the latest research in this field, but as Sonia taught us last night, and what many people tell us, is this is one of the best conferences for connection. Meeting new people, collaborating. So many people tell us, I met so-and-so at, WPPA, and now we're working on this, or we're in business together. And so, you can't just come once. Once you come once, you've got to keep coming because you're going to meet so many great people. There's really one main reason that we've lasted 10 years without a business model, without, doing what a lot of associations do. And she's pointing a camera at you right now. For 10 years, this is the largest contribution we have is we've got pictures of all the places we've been, all the people that have been here. And she's going to, I think, share a few of those with us today. But I met Shari Young Kuchenbecker at a time here where she was a professor at Chapman University teaching positive psychology. And she came to me and said, let's really, do something regular, get all the students, together and the faculty. And from that day, she has been, every time, well, maybe we shouldn't have it this year, or, all the problems in the world, and COVID, and she's like, no, we got to keep going. And she's volunteered so many times. Shari is an alum. She got her PhD at Stanford, and she's had a number of professors, but two that she's really cared for and worked with, and who have also supported WPPA. You see her first of all with a guy you might know or have read about, Albert Bandura, and next to them is Philip Zimbardo, who came to a lot of our meetings. Unfortunately, like Mahali, they've all passed. But we want to honor their memories and their support of this community and of applied psychology in general. Shari wrote a book in the mid part of her career on a parent's guide to helping kids succeed on the playing field. Now, one of the things I did was a lot of youth coaching. One of the reasons I like the professor job is all the other dads would be in LA, and I would be out there with my flexible schedule, working with their kids on what seemed like serious, athletics. Now I look at it and go, oh my God, this is just, for fun and all the things we're going to be talking about today. But some of the parents really are tough on the kids, and this book was a real big contribution to this whole world of youth sports. So we're really proud of that and many of her other accomplishments, including every WPA, Western Psych Association. She's there representing us and our community. So with that, let's honor our executive director and just the energy behind this organization for many years.
Okay, no, I can't set it down.
I'll take them. How's that? They'll be blurry, but
No, that's okay.
she won't let me touch that camera.
It's a workout. I want to tell you how very, very grateful I am to be here. It's really all of you. It is not me just taking pictures. It's all of you coming together. It's what we know about connection that Sonia taught us last night. And when Stewart said to me, well, would you make a quick slideshow? And I went, of all the pictures since 2013? Are you serious? I said a few swear words. I don't mean to say that, but I did. And then I got a wonderful honor to see your faces across the many, many years. And it was so fulfilling. And I only want to say thank you because it's all you. It's the connections, and it's why we come together. We're addicted to hanging out with this. So to go forward, I click here. Tatiana is our secret behind this conference, as you're going to see. Tatiana is... And to go forward, it's the right. Oh, does it go this way? Okay, so this, when we pulled this together, our 10th conference, we had a few challenges across the years, but I just got to snap the photos. The secret behind everything was always Stewart. And so he's very gracious and very humble, but it is this community behind both of us that brings us together year after year. At the time when it was founded in 2013, Stewart was founding dean of the newly formed School of Social Sciences, Policy and Evaluation, and the Claremont School of Community and Global Health. Meg Rao, his student, was our third member of the founding team, and it all started when I sent an email to Stewart and said, I have all these students at Chapman, but IPA is really expensive. How about we let them volunteer at IPA? He was president and conference chair of IPA that year in 2013 in Los Angeles. And so, indeed, are we sure it goes?
I don't think it's on.
That's okay. I can do that. And indeed, Stewart said in the email back, he said, well, that sounds like a great idea. And he appealed to IPA, and IPA said, maybe not yet. But I brought my students, there's Meg and Stewart and myself back in 2013. And yes, age happens, and we're grateful. It's better than the alternative.
Make me look so old today.
Well, at the first conference that we pulled together, it was also Chickasegna High's 80th birthday. And we brought in an amazing set of speakers in 2014, including Mark Seligman, and we honored his birthday. And he presented the optimal experience and the original flow. Go forward. Is there a delay?
No, shouldn't be.
Okay, we'll try this. How about this? The keyboard. All right, old tech. I'm old enough to know the old tech. So we wished happy birthday, and the original flow model was presented. Can you see the pointer there? Okay, and the original flow model. And Jean Nakamura spoke. Positive psychology has a short history, but a very long past. And Chickasegna High spoke about the future of positive psychology, and the rapid growth was documented primarily through the research here done by Claremont Graduate University, the only PhD program in the world that Chickasegna High, Stewart, and Jean Nakamura founded, and it has been a wonderful history. And now we have more than 20 graduate programs around the world. There are fundings and awards. The Templeton Foundation has been exceptional. This was our first program. It was one page. And here are a few of my students out in front of the hall where we held it, and it was Exploring Positive Psych. Our second conference did not happen until 2017. And in 2017, because we had a few years of growth under our belt, we had an increased program. And as you'll see, Chickasegna High spoke, and we had registration, and Robin, who's here, was one of the people who helped organize all of our name tags. It is you, the volunteers, and the people that are a part of the program, and you'll see we had a growing audience. In the background, you can see one of our presenters today, Sean, and we had posters that were well received, and one of our speakers last night, Giacomo Bono, has brought students every single year and won the first place award for bringing more students and supporting WPPA as a faculty research mentor. Our third conference was in 2018, and our program was growing. Happily, we had speakers. Chickasegna High again spoke to the audience, And our poster session was exceptional. Bruce Smith, who's there in the background, presented his research on the value of positive education and improving the lives, everyday lives, of students with his book I'll show that in a minute. We had Sean Thompson presenting, and we'll be hearing from him at noon today. Our fourth conference in 2019, we again had an expanding program, and I'm very happy to say Stewart again is a part of creating our history, holding up the honor of positive psychology and building our contributions to the research in positive psych. And you'll see Jean, Csikszentmihalyi, Jason Siegel, who will be presenting later today, and the dean of our school, as well as Giacomo again. We were grateful each year to have a poster session, and this is when we started our tradition in 2020 of capturing a photo, and you can see Csikszentmihalyi in the middle here, and a whole group of people. Some of you were there. I am grateful to welcome all of you here. So in 2020, again, we've got a growing program. Participants, Dr. Valoran spoke about passion in positive psych, and Csikszentmihalyi, and Seda Heshmati was also a speaker, as Jason, and we had faculty coming from around. And here again, our posters, we have Bruce Smith, and of course Stewart, and our wonderful students, Kate Bono, and thank you all. And again, we have a waving photo in 2020. Excuse me. It's a grandchild's cold. I'm still keeping it from the mental. And then came COVID. Luckily, in COVID, we had a secret behind our success. And this is our secret. He's humble, but he kept this going as we move forward, recruiting the famous people in positive psychology, including Lee Waters, who came and keynoted on an online webinar, and Lee helped us understand searching for what makes positive education and how to benefit our everyday students. In March of that year, Barb Fredrickson came forth, repercussions of co-experienced positive emotions, and you're probably getting a theme here. Barb spoke to us in our webinar about the power of the growing wave, broaden and build theory of positive emotions and love 2.0. Our first community of practice met in April of 2021, and we looked at the question of what do you think is the most important topic in positive psychology, engaging the audience through the CGAU Zooms. And then he brought in Kim Cameron, one of the great leaders in positive psychology, who gratefully told us all about positive energy. And he shared his model to building positive energy in organizations, which I think Stewart has a corner on. We brought in Fred Luthens in April of 2022, and then we brought our second community of practice in June of 2022. List the outcomes, positive ones, that come from positive psychology. And then, in October, we looked at the building blocks of positive relationships. In December of that year, we had Phil Zimbardo as our mystery guest, but was no mystery. Phil has been an amazing positive psychologist behind the scenes. Many of you only know of him as the prison study. But in fact, it was incredible empathy and optimism. He had no idea that the students could digress. And from him, we learned a powerful lesson, the power of the situation. But for a few circumstances, could go any of us. And after that, he's always been at our WPPA booths. And I'll quickly share a note he shared with me. Shari, dear friend, remember, the best is yet to come. Our fifth was in January. What we looked at the ways that positive psychology can be used to help struggling people, and expanded that in March with our community of practice. And yay, 2024, Bruce Smith became the chair of our 2024 8th annual WPPA conference. Our program expanded, and Matthew Higgins was the official conference chair. Bruce Smith was the academic faculty behind it. We were grateful for a wonderful space, and many of the University of New Mexico people are here. Again, we see Stewart presenting, along with Bill Miller, and at that presentation, Stewart was sharing the research of his college, which is PERMA +4. You'll be hearing more about that. We had powerful sessions. Again, our University of New Mexico team and our CGU team and people from around the world. And here's Tatiana presenting at the WPPA that year. We featured that year Sonia Ludomaritsky, who we again saw last night, and she showed us the value of positive interventions. And when people, she showed us, help others, we have the greatest increase in well-being. It also reduces our pro-inflammatory cytokines and increases our overall well-being. Our group photo, which we'll be taking today at noon, here it was in 2024. I think some of you will see yourselves there. You're going to be seeing June in many of these. He smiles. Yay June, yay Bruce, and thank you all. Our 9th conference was California State University of Sacramento, Cal State University 2025. Our chair was Malik Shadamir, and he brought in Bob Emmons. And we were grateful to have amazing speakers, as well as a growing community. And at each turn, we have honored, as Stewart does, our friend Csikszentmihalyi and the people behind this, which is you. Bob shared with us gratitude works. Bob Emmons' research has helped us understand practicing gratitude. Here's our poster session where we initiated the first year of awards for first, second, and third place posters. And this was our group photo. So as a summary of our conferences, in our first Back Again conference, we were standing on the foundations that Marty Seligman and Stuart Donaldson and their research teams gave us. PERMA, plus the 4 foundations of well-being. And on top of that, Sonia helped us learn, helping others helps others. And it helps our well-being as well. Bill Miller told us there are 8 ways to hope. Bob Emmons told us in 2025, gratitude works. And last night we learned from Sonia how to feel loved. It's connection. Connect, be open, and grow. This year, we bring you WPPA 2026, Tatiana Shemiakina, who is our 10th conference chair. She's done an amazing job of communicating and building what we know, our sponsors. We're grateful to have Reggae Singh, CGU, the Love Center, Claremont Flourishing Center, and we're also honored to be grateful to Tatiana. And I will close with this word, and I'll quote Phil Zimbardo: "The best is yet to come because of you."
Did I get it? Yes. So let me tell you a little bit about Tatiana. She was a Russian positive psychologist working in Russia. She was going to go to the international conference, but she couldn't go. She had actually come to Southern California. And so the IPA called me up and said, you know, I have a member that would really like to get her poster to IPA. And I said, well, sure, I'm happy to, do that. And it turned out it was a study on positive psychology in the Russian school system. And of course I said, why don't you come to my lab? Why don't you come, tell us more about this? And one thing led to another, and she couldn't believe it, and I couldn't either. She became a doctoral student, even though she was, an active professional in Russia in positive psych, and is now in her 3rd year and doing amazing research, but she steps up for everything. And when we said we were bringing it back, she was, I'm happy to help in any way possible. So this is our 10th annual WPPA conference chair. Let's give a big
Thank you so much. Thank you, Stewart, for this warm introduction and really generous. Yeah, instead of doing my job, I'm now like, I'm melting. And I just realized how honored I am to be here and to be a chair. And I want to welcome all of you today. We were working so hard on this amazing program, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. You will learn a ton today. A lot from our posters, presenters, invited speakers, talks, our oral podium presentations, workshops, amazing workshops on Sunday. Please come. The WPPA community and WPPA conferences are not only about programs. It's mostly about relationships, connection, building, growing together, building brilliant community, and we're very welcoming and supporting. So I'm very honored and I'm really grateful and thankful to all of you for coming here to be with us. And I wish you a great weekend today, tomorrow. And what I want to say is happy WPPA.
In Sacramento, we found a new partner for our positive psych research and for WPPA. Reki Singh, who is an alum of Sacramento State, decided when he sold his very successful information technology business to create a foundation that would teach the principles of positive psych, well-being science, happiness science, all around the world. And the model that he came up with was to fund activity in universities, cross disciplines that would commit to this. So he imagined engineers with education in the science of happiness. And so in a very short period of time, he now has 70 centers across the world, mostly in Asia, Southeast Asia, India. But I said, let's do a flourishing center at Claremont. And I thought, usually when you talk to donors, it's a long process of proposals. And that's what I was going to suggest to you. And so he gave us a very generous gift. We're now teaching, a lot of different principles, but part of this was to do it, in Asia and Canada and other parts of the world. But in order for us to meet our obligation of this gift, he wants us to teach also in our local communities. And so we have a whole group of us now that are passionate about teaching positive psychology and how to flourish and so forth. We just did one at one of our senior living centers in Claremont, and they just loved this, and the concept of flourishing is you are growing. And a lot of times in the aging process, people think they're trying to prevent aging, and when we talked about positive psych, it was like, yes, growing and getting better every day. And they had so many wonderful ideas. So check us out, our website. When we now do, this is very transparent, but when we do a WPPA conference, his business mind was do everything you want to do, and if you have a deficit, which we have had several times, he'll cover it. And so he's a wonderful sponsor, and he's now, a new member of our team. Well, it all started, as we know, back in 2000. This is Mahalia and Martin Seligman, envisioning all of this. In 2006, we launched these research-based master's and PhD programs, and we have done so much research now in this 20-year period on positive psych, and we've trained so many positive psych researchers that are now out in the world. You're going to hear from some of them today, doing amazing things in their various occupations. We taught a whole group of faculty, over 100 faculty across Asia this summer, under a thing I'm using a lot now, which is we're trying to give positive psychology away. We don't want it just to be us talking about it, although that's fun, and we're going to have fun doing that today. But how do we put it in a language and in a way that others can benefit from it? And if we're successful, this whole concept of teaching positive psychology is what makes us flourish and us be happy. Because when you teach something, you really got to understand it. And I loved how Sonia was being asked, are you expected to be happy since you're this happiness scientist? And of course she told us that she doesn't worry about that and so forth. But by her thinking about that 24/7, she told us, she's a very happy person, even though she has all the problems, that we all encounter in life. Some of the ways we're now trying to introduce people to it, and instead of all these, peer-reviewed publications we've done with a couple of former students, now successful professionals in positive psychology, we've done a couple of books recently that are for the general public. Flow 2.0, which honors Mahali's life and tells the whole story of positive psychology, which will be available this afternoon at our book signing we're having at the end. Matt Dubin, Dr. Matt Dubin, will be here talking about the book today and the research that he did for his dissertation. It is now in Chinese, and I can't read a word of it, but it's beautiful. But I have asked some colleagues to look at it. It's also coming out in Japanese. So it's getting a lot of traction, which we're very, as Flow did, of course, itself. The latest book that we put together is trying to look at all of these activities that we now have that Sonia was talking about, and putting them in very simple form around how you can use them yourself, as well as how you can help others with these positive psychology activities. And we do it around a framework that Shari was mentioning called PERMA-4, where across the field of positive psychology, we've identified 9 things that seem to be critically important to whether or not you're flourishing in life. And what's been most amazing about this is I've had a lot of different ideas and done a lot of research, but as we've started to really study this, and I mean with dissertations, a lot of people here studying various aspects of it, people all around the world now taking our measures and studying it. Study after study, what we see is an amazing sort of record of, it's a really strong predictor of happiness, well-being, and flourishing. We've got 2 more books coming out this year, and some of the speakers that are talking about workplace today are in these books. One with recent grad Jacqueline Gaffney on the latest research, and the second edition of our positive organizational psychology book. As we started the Flourishing Center, I had, just like positive psych, so many wisecracks, jokes, colleagues going, only you would start a flourishing center in these times that we're living in. I said, I think others would if they got a gift like that. But the way we've tried to deal with the times that we live in, and there are a lot of people suffering and struggling, we acknowledge that. And there are a lot of things we can't control. But our research and this community is largely focused on the things we can control, to be resilient in these times, to still, make an impact and help others with what we're doing. So we have lots of measures now of well-being and flourishing. And, you see my definition that I mentioned earlier, sort of growing and doing well in most aspects of your life. But the predictor of these at a level, it beats IQ, which I love, because that's sort of the measure that people have really, credited psychology with. But these 9 dimensions put into a PERMA-4 score is so predictive. If you look at, I'll just, in my last minute, imagine on a day-to-day basis your life with really hardly any positive emotions. You never engage or get in flow. And there are a lot of people like this. Very poor relationships, basically don't have anybody in life, no meaning and purpose, you're not getting anything done, terrible physical health, a terrible mindset, living in a very bad environment, and no money, no security. Okay, a lot of the world lives that way. So when we give an instrument and somebody's not doing well on this, of course, anxiety, depression, incarceration, suicide, it's very, very predictive. But a lot of these interventions are how do we maximize each of these and sort of understand the relationships. And that's where we see study after study showing this as an amazing way to not only assess our lives and help other people with the building blocks, but to teach others how to flourish. So let me just end with one of my favorite recent pictures. So we're, at Pitzer College for Mental Health Day, they invited us in to teach them about PERMA and all our activities. And we're not saying that, any of these, as Sonia did, may work for you. It's, really your own sort of how do you manage, these building blocks in life, what techniques work for you and what don't. And to this, really engaged audience, we ended with Tatiana quoting Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi that a joyful life is an individual creation that cannot be copied from a recipe. So learn all these things today, create your own recipe. When you have high PERMA-4 and you experience high well-being, you're going to be more able to affect other people in a positive way. And that's what we're hoping all of you will do when you leave this conference. It's about other people, but you also benefit by doing that. Have a wonderful day.